Hey, you guys, welcome back to day 2, where we are going to talk through the next 2 phases of the stages of change. As you know, as a coach, our job is not to know all of the answers. Our job is to guide the client in creating the answer for themselves. And so the more powerful and pointed questions you can ask, the more effective your results. So let me go ahead and share this into the groups. If you've got any questions or thoughts about your experience as a coach, or I'd love to even hear how long you have been interested in being a coach, what that looks like for you, what has been brewing for you. I know for me, I thought about becoming a coach for quite a while before I actually stepped into coaching. And so now I certify coaches who are on that process, who've had the dream of working with people in a new way, who want to add value to the world in a new way on their own schedule, in their cozy clothes, but don't know how. And so part of the how is to learn the content that you can utilize with clients to move the needle in their life. And as a clinical psychologist turned dream life coach, I support coaches in being awesome, excellent coaches and knowing how to guide clients through the growth process. So we today are talking through the stages of change called motivational interviewing. And if you missed yesterday's video, please go back and listen to that, where we talked about why motivational interviewing is a really fascinating philosophy for coaches to understand. And then pre-contemplation, which is step 1 or stage 1. Next on the wheels, the stages of change wheel, we've got number 2, which is contemplation. I've got my notes right here. Hold on. Let me put it over here so I'm not looking somewhere else. But basically it says here, I can show this to you actually. Why don't I do that? Then you guys can see. So I'm going to share my screen really quick and show you guys this worksheet. It's called Stages of Change. This is a piece of the clinical skills that new coaches or that coaches get in the certification program, with tons of different exercises and modalities that they get to learn to better their work with clients. So contemplation is stage 2. The client is beginning to weigh out pros and cons of change realistically. There's this decisional balance where maybe, you know what, even though change feels hard, I know I can't stay here anymore. So in phase 1, somebody is saying, I don't really like it here, but at least it's comfortable. And so change feels kind of hard, far away, only for those lucky people, not really possible. And so I'm just going to stay here. Now, contemplation is when the gravity of staying here is starting to grow. They're like, I don't really want to be here anymore, but this still feels far away and it might not be attainable, but like, I don't want to be here anymore. So the tension of staying here is starting to build. A client in contemplation is beginning to weigh the pros and cons, and they're just like, they're discussing it as an option. This future change is an option, but again, it's still not attainable. They are starting to consider that this may be a problem, but the stress of change feels greater than the stress of staying the same. So they've done what we stir up here, right? They're stirring up here. They're becoming more and more restless with where life is now. But again, change feels hard. So the questions to ask somebody in this stage of the game is, what are the pros and cons of staying here? What are the pros and cons of making the change? And how do you know, or who do you know that has successfully made this change? Why do we ask that? Because we want to build hope, guys. We want part of our job as coaches is to build belief, and that belief transfer. So who do you know that has successfully lost 50 pounds? Let's go hear from them. Who do you know that successfully built a business? Who do you know that has successfully traveled to Europe or gone to Africa on a mission trip? Like, who do you know that has done the thing you want to do? And let's go talk to them, because that's going to build hope that it's possible. It's going to build belief that it's possible for them. Now, somebody who's in contemplation, they're more ready to change, but they're not quite the yes people. They still might need some brewing, right? They still might need some sales calls if you're thinking about this in terms of business. So the goal in somebody in contemplation is to strengthen their desire, stir up the need, decrease barriers, and build hope. So again, we're building the vision of the future that they're excited about. We are stirring up here, making it like we don't need to stay here anymore. And you're building hope that it's possible. So stage 3, which is we're going to talk about today, and the tomorrow we're going to talk about stage 4 and 5. Stage 3 is that they're starting to use this change talk. They're understanding the importance of change, and they begin to see it of something that's happening, and they're starting to do research. They're starting to formulate a plan. They've kind of already decided, I'm not going to stay here anymore. They've decided that I don't want to stay here anymore. It's time for me to make a change. And this is when you as a coach get to cast that vision for change and help them create their action plan in doing it. Because as soon as they rub up against a resistance, right, it's easy for us to fall back into old patterns. So you as the coach are supporting that change process, holding the vision strong and helping them execute by holding them accountable, processing through next steps as sticking points, that kind of thing. Now, if you're in sales and you're doing sales calls and someone's in preparation, they've already decided they don't want to stay here anymore. They're just looking to see who has the best fit for me for where I want to go next. This is the person that's going to say yes after one sales call. This is the person that's already decided they're in before they even get on the phone with you. And you've done some of this work with your content, with your videos before they even hop on the phone with you. And so you're casting a vision for the future already in your content. You're showing them that you have a step-by-step plan within your content. They've already done research with your content. So by the time they get to the sales call, they're ready to say yes. Now, the person who's in contemplation stage, they might need a little bit more convincing. So this is where you can refer them to some of that content. You can refer them to a how-to video. You can refer them to a hot seat coaching experience. You can refer them to some of the resources that you have created, testimonies, things like that, that will help them build the belief that it's possible for them. But somebody in preparation is the person that will say yes because they've already decided. And these ultimately are the people that we really want on our sales calls. These are the clients we really want. Am I right? Because we aren't having to negotiate with them about if they're ready for change, why they should change, why this is good for them. They're ready for it. And because of that, they are more apt to follow through on the suggestions and ideas that are brought up in session. So if you're a coach, your goal is to use your content to move people through the stages of change, pre-contemplation, contemplation, into preparedness so they can book a sales call with you and then move the needle on their life. So think about this as you're creating content. How can you move people through the stages of change so by the time they get on the phone with you, they're ready to say yes? I'd love to hear a few of your thoughts below as well. Where are you in this process? Have you experienced this yourself? Where you wanted to change, but it felt too hard. And then the stages and the process it took you through as you were moving the needle in your life. And then let's hang out tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk through action and maintenance, the last 2 phases of the stages of change. In fact, I will be driving all day tomorrow. I'm headed on a Dream Life Adventure retreat in Destin, Florida. We've got an upcoming retreat in Costa Rica. Dream Life coaches get all the retreats at wholesale pricing. And so if you're interested in learning about how you can become a great coach yourself by utilizing the Dream Life content and build a business with our business support, comment coach below and let's talk. We've got a few spots available for the rest of the year. And within 6 months, you could be launching and servicing clients, making money, doing what you love too. Thank you so much for being here. You guys have an amazing day and we'll see you next time.